Imagine waking up to a world turned upside down. Families, professionals, and students, engineers who built Silicon Valley, doctors who saved lives, and students with dreams of shaping the future, suddenly told they're no longer welcome in the United States. What triggered this seismic shift? And why did it send shockwaves through the lives of millions of Indian immigrants overnight? In today's video, we're peeling back the layers of this jaw-dropping policy shakeup. From the political storm that fueled it to the economic and cultural fallout that followed, we'll reveal the untold impact on Indian lives and what this bold move signaled for international relations. So buckle up, because the story you're about to hear might just change the way you see immigration forever. When Donald Trump announced his bid for the presidency, one thing was crystal clear: immigration reform was at the very heart of his campaign. With fiery speeches and bold promises, he painted a picture of a nation under threat, vowing to restore control at the borders and protect American jobs. But it wasn't just illegal immigration in the spotlight. Trump took direct aim at the H-1B visa program, the same program that brought thousands of highly skilled Indian professionals to America, fueling its tech and healthcare industries. He argued that the system had been abused and rigged against hardworking Americans. Companies, he claimed, were hiring cheaper foreign labor at the expense of American talent. The message was clear: put American workers first, reduce reliance on foreign talent, and tighten the screws on employment-based immigration. These promises resonated with many voters, but sent shockwaves through the tech and corporate sectors and struck fear into the hearts of countless Indian families living and working in the U.S. What followed was a series of controversial moves that would reshape immigration policy and spark international outrage. On April 18, 2017, President Trump signed an executive order that sent shockwaves across America and beyond. Titled "Buy American, Hire American," this order was more than a slogan. It was a call to action that changed the lives of millions. The directive aimed to protect American jobs by tightening immigration policies, specifically targeting programs like the H-1B visa. It ordered a review of the visa system to prevent what Trump called widespread abuse, with the goal of awarding visas only to the most skilled or highest paid applicants. For thousands of Indian professionals who had built their careers in the United States, this order marked the beginning of a nightmare. Applications for H-1B visas faced stricter scrutiny, approval rates dropped, and green card backlogs grew even longer. Many students, hoping to transition from U.S. universities to lucrative tech jobs, suddenly found themselves caught in a web of uncertainty. Within weeks, companies slowed down hiring foreign workers, fearing legal challenges or political backlash. Families who had called America home for years began questioning their future, and for some, the unthinkable happened. Returning to India became their only option. This executive order didn't just impact individual lives, it reverberated across industries. Silicon Valley, where Indian talent had been a backbone, faced hiring freezes and talent shortages. And beyond the personal and professional toll, the move strained diplomatic ties, with Indian officials calling for a reevaluation of U.S. policies. But this was only the beginning. The fallout from this policy would have lasting effects not just for immigrants, but for America's position on the global stage. The consequences of the executive order were swift and devastating. At airports across the country, confusion reigned. Immigration officers, unsure of the new rules, subjected travelers to endless questioning. Some families were separated as visas were abruptly canceled. Indian professionals who had built lives in America found themselves forced to pack up and leave with little notice. "I couldn't believe it," one former H-1B worker recalled. "My kids were born here, but we were suddenly outsiders." Meanwhile, Silicon Valley, the beating heart of the American tech industry, began to feel the impact. Indian engineers and developers who formed the backbone of companies like Google, Microsoft, and Apple faced unprecedented challenges. Projects stalled, innovation slowed, and fears of a brain drain loomed large. CEOs of tech giants didn't stay silent. Sundar Pichai of Google issued a bold statement defending immigrant workers, emphasizing their crucial role in keeping America at the forefront of global innovation. Microsoft and Apple followed suit, lobbying for more inclusive policies and offering legal support to affected employees. American universities also bore the brunt of the fallout. Indian students, who once made up a significant portion of STEM enrollments, began reconsidering their futures in the U.S. Admissions offices worried about declining diversity and the loss of bright minds contributing to groundbreaking research. But perhaps the greatest casualty wasn't just lost opportunities. It was shattered dreams. The land of opportunity had suddenly turned into a place of uncertainty for countless Indian professionals. But as the dust settled, a global ripple effect was just beginning to unfold. Why would the leader of the world's largest economy risk alienating top talent and disrupting billion-dollar industries? The answer lies at the intersection of economics and politics. First, the economic argument was clear. Protect American jobs. The administration argued that too many high-paying positions in technology, engineering, and science were being taken by foreign workers on H-1B visas, roles they believed should go to American citizens instead. By reducing foreign labor dependency, the hope was to give struggling American workers a chance to thrive in an evolving job market. Politically, it was a promise made and kept. During the campaign, Donald Trump repeatedly vowed to crack down on what he called unfair immigration practices. The executive order became a symbol of his commitment to put America first. The move also sent a strong message to India. The U.S. would no longer turn a blind eye to immigration practices that were perceived as undermining domestic opportunities. But not everyone was convinced this was the right approach. Immigrants, especially Indian tech professionals, fill critical gaps in America's workforce that local talent simply can't meet. Economists warned of severe consequences: a talent vacuum, reduced innovation, and weakened global competitiveness. In industries like artificial intelligence, software development, and engineering, labor shortages were already looming. Critics argue that shutting the door on skilled immigrants would only make, as we'll see next, this policy shift not only changed lives, it reshaped global innovation in unexpected ways. The ripple effects of America's immigration crackdown didn't stop at its borders. Thousands of Indian professionals suddenly found themselves packing up their dreams and returning to a homeland that wasn't fully prepared for their return. But reintegrating into India's competitive job market was anything but smooth. Many returning professionals struggled to find roles that matched their expertise or compensated them at the level they were used to. Some faced the emotional toll of uprooting their families after building a life in America for years. I left everything behind: my job, my kids' school, even my community. And back here, I had to start from scratch. Economically, the consequences were profound. Remittances from Indian professionals living in the U.S. had been a critical part of India's financial ecosystem. As these funds dried up, economists predicted a ripple effect on local economies dependent on these inflows. The situation caught the attention of Indian officials, who were quick to condemn the sudden policy changes. The Ministry of External Affairs demanded clarity from Washington, calling the move disruptive to bilateral relations. Meanwhile, advocacy groups sprang into action, lobbying both U.S. and Indian officials to find solutions for stranded professionals and students. Some groups pushed for a more inclusive U.S. immigration system, while others worked tirelessly to help Indian returnees find new opportunities back home. It was a defining moment for the Indian diaspora, a painful chapter, but one that ultimately ignited conversations about India's role as a global innovation hub and the resilience of its people. Back in the United States, the fallout was immediate and fierce. America's tech giants, the backbone of Silicon Valley's innovation, were among the first to sound the alarm. For years, they had relied heavily on Indian talent to drive advancements in artificial intelligence, software development, and digital transformation. Suddenly, the very workforce that had fueled their success was at risk. Google's CEO Sundar Pichai, himself an immigrant from India, expressed concern, emphasizing the critical contributions of foreign-born professionals. Immigration restrictions undermine America's leadership in technology and innovation. Microsoft and Apple echoed similar sentiments, warning that the executive order would create a brain drain, pushing talent toward more welcoming nations. Legal challenges were swift. Tech giants joined forces with advocacy groups, filing lawsuits against the federal government, arguing that the policy was not only discriminatory, but economically short-sighted. But as these cases slowly made their way through the courts, companies had to find alternatives. Some explored moving operations to more immigration-friendly countries such as Canada and Singapore. Others doubled down on remote work solutions, bypassing borders entirely. The long-term implications? A tectonic shift in the global tech landscape. Nations that welcomed talent with open arms stood to gain, while America risked losing its edge in the race for innovation. The lesson was clear. In a globalized world, talent knows no borders, and it will go where it's valued most. In the end, the Buy American, Hire American policy not only reshaped the lives of countless Indian professionals, but also shook the foundations of U.S. innovation. Families were separated, dreams disrupted, and companies left grappling with talent shortages. While some argued it was necessary to protect American jobs, others warned that it stifled innovation and risked pushing talent overseas. What do you think? Was this move justified, or did it do more harm than good? What would you do if faced with sudden deportation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth stories on global events. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on World Without Borders.